Let's talk about 10 ways to optimize your landing pages so that you can get more email opt-ins. So it's arguable that your email opt-in landing pages are the most important pages on your site. Because here's what happens. The better they do at getting people to opt into your email list, the better you do in everything else in your business, especially sales. Yet most people hardly pay any attention to them. They go out and they create their one obligatory landing page so they can check off a box on the list of the online marketing things to do, and then they wonder why their business isn't working. Let's fix that in this video. I've done a ton of testing on this. I've created lots and lots of opt-in pages over the years. And so what I'd like to do here is share my experience so that you can do better with yours. So let's talk about optimization tip number 1. And that is, on that page, your headline should focus either on their problem, or if you can't figure out anything else, the transformation that you're helping them achieve. So problem options, things like, do you struggle with? Are you frustrated that? Do you hate? That should say not enough of something, okay? So these are all problem solution based pages. I find that problem solution based opt-in pages almost always outperform anything else that you can throw at them. Next, transformation options. Only use these if you absolutely have to. So imagine a world where you could be, what if, those kinds of things. Now, I know a lot of people who will say, but Don, I only want to talk about positive things. I never want to do a problem solution page. Well, I say, good luck to you. It'll probably way underperform a problem solution based page. So, as I said, problems headlines almost always convert transformation ones. And so here's one other key thing with this headline. Your headline should always be about them, the reader, never about your report. So a headline should never be sign up to get this report. Just, if that's what you're going to do, just leave the headline off. Sign up for this report will always cut conversions. All right, let's do optimization tip number 2. I strongly recommend, now this is something you're not going to hear from most people, but my testing over and over again has shown that if you use a pre-header that tells them this is for you, you will almost always outperform a page that does not have a pre-header that says who this page is for. Okay, so a lot of people use a pre-header. So what's a pre-header? So a pre-header is like little words that go above the big words. So here's the pre-header. Here's the big words that is the headline. So a lot of people use a pre-header, but they use it to set up their headline or to expand their headline. I find that using the pre-header to tell people this is for you way outperforms the other one. So let me give just a couple of examples. Busy moms of young kids. Are you constantly exhausted because your kids won't sleep through the night? Okay. Or attention course creators want to outsource but can't find the right person. See what we're doing here? We're taking this header, this pre-head, and we're saying this is for you if you have this problem. All right. Now, I just want to make a side journey here for just a moment. Notice those headlines, they can be long. That's okay. There is no headline police out there that are going to throw you in jail if your headline is over 5 words. Should be no pressure to make them short if long does better. And that's the key. If long does better, then use it, because you can get too long. If it's like 3 sentences long, too long. So play with it, but don't feel restricted to have to force it into 5 or 6 words. It can be longer, okay? All right, now some people will say, but Don, I don't need a pre-head that tells the people this is for them because my ads only attract my target audience. I'm not going to get anybody to that page that isn't from that group. Well, I disagree. And I say, nope, that is wrong. Pre-heads make people feel at home. It tells them that this is right for you. even if they came from an ad. Remember also that pre-heads are designed to get the right people, generally not to expand the headline. If you need to use a two-step headline, you may want to make that second part of it be the subhead. You may want to have a pre-head that identifies the audience and a pre-head that starts to expand the headline and then the headline. You may want to have the big headline, then a subhead below that, something like that. But I do strongly suggest that you have a pre-head that is designed to tell them that this is for them. Okay? All right. Optimization tip number 3. Include a picture of what they're getting. Landing pages with a picture of what they're getting almost always outperform the ones that don't. Now, and they also tend to almost always outperform transformation pictures. So a lot of people, especially the ones who say, I don't ever want to say anything negative, they want to put a picture of somebody sitting on a hammock on a beach. The problem with that is that transformation pictures tend to be hackneyed. They tend to be undifferentiated. Everybody's saying, you can sit on the beach if you just get my thing. And so no one pays any attention to them. That's why transformation pictures almost always are beat by a picture that shows them actually what they're getting. So if it's a report, show a picture of the report. If it's a video, show a picture of the video. Whatever that is, show them what they're going to get. And as a result, hey, most of your opt-in incentives should almost always have a cover. Create a cover, put a big picture on it with the title on it so you got something to use the image of in your opt-in incentive. Now, also, while we're at this, a side tip, don't use one of those tools that makes a 5-page report look like a 100-page book. So that just makes people angry. And by the way, just a cover that looks like a 5-page report will almost outperform a report that's got 100 pages because no one wants to read 100 pages anymore. Okay? So let's just show you what we talked about so far. You got a pre-head, says who they are, headline with a bunch of words, picture of your product. All right, now let's talk about optimization tip number 4, which is add a subhead that solves the problem that you created in the headline. So the subhead examples, free report shows how, discover the 5 biggest mistakes, imagine. By the way, you can put a transformation in the subhead, problem in the header, subhead becomes your transformation. So those of you who only want to say good things, all right, start the problem in your headline, solve it in your subhead. The subhead usually goes to the right of the picture above the bullet points. So like this. So here's your subhead, goes here. Your problem starts it. Your transformation either continues it, starts to fulfill it, free report shows how to, or shows the transformation that they get. All right, optimization tip number 5. 3-ish bullet points that tell them what they're going to get. So I use ish because it's not an exact term. 2 is usually too few, 5 is too many. So 3 or 4 bullet points that tell them exactly what they're going to get. Make sure that that word that I put in there, compelling, is true. Make me want to get your thing in those bullet points. Don't give me non-specific world peace kinds of generalizations. Sometimes I'll look at things and it'll say, hey, you get this and you'll be happier, healthier, you'll have better relationships, and your tomatoes will be very, very big. And it's like, no, I don't believe all that. Give me the 3 things specifically that I'm going to get out of this particular report, not a general, your life will just be better as a result. And by the way, so that you can add a benefit to them. So I'm going to show you the 3 mistakes that most people make so that you'll never fall into that trap. I'm going to show you, that kind of thing. You sow that so that you can resolve and give them a benefit of what that is. Where does this fit? Our subhead goes here, our bullet points go here. And then down here goes your opt-in button. All right, let's talk about that. Optimization tip number 6. Make sure that your opt-in button, the one that they click to bring up the pop-up form that gives them the form, by the way, that's an optimization tip. Almost always just a single button that then pops up a form will outperform the form there on the page. Don't know why? They work. Okay, so make sure that opt-in form is above the fold. What does above the fold mean? It means they don't need to scroll down. So how do I know if they're going to have to scroll down or not? I've got this great big huge monitor that's got a lot on it. I don't know if this is going to work for other people. So I suggest you Google, see my page on different browsers, and you'll see a whole bunch of different tools there that enable you to take a URL, put it there, and you'll see it on a bunch of different browsers. And I strongly suggest you use a tool like that. So if that button isn't above the fold, make everything else shorter so that it is. It's a simple solution. Just shorten everything up so it is. And because it's vital that you do this. If the button is above the fold, if the button is not above the fold, correction, conversion is going to drop by 20% or more. This is very important that you get this right. And for some reason, I don't know why, a lot of people just never get this. And so it's a comment I have to make all the time. Your button's not above the fold. You need to fix that. Optimization tip number 7. It must be designed for mobile. In fact, I strongly suggest you design it first for mobile, then you go out and design it for desktop. You have to recognize in today's world, 60 to 90% of all the opt-ins you're going to get are going to come from mobile. You can no longer just do a page on a desktop and hope it works on mobile. You need to understand your tool that you're using to build this in will have an option that enables you to see it in mobile, and it will enable you to fix that mobile page so that it can work. If it doesn't, change your page development tool. This is an absolute must in today's world. So, key things that need to happen. On mobile, the button needs to be above the fold, and realize that there are a lot of phones that are smaller. So you can't just use your one that is like 62 pages long that it takes 3 pockets to put it in. You have to get it to the SE versions that are shorter. That's what you're designing for. Because if it designs for an SE version that's shorter, it'll also work on the longer, but not the other way around. So the button must be above the fold. Your design has to look right on mobile. So the picture is probably going to have to be different. That picture that you put into the item, it's probably going to be giant. It's going to push everything down. It's going to show up at the top of the page and push everything down. You're going to have to change your design here. And by the way, the side by side design probably isn't going to work on mobile. So it will probably be headline, picture, subhead, bullet points, button, or headline or picture, then headline, subhead, bullet points, button. One of those two, play with it, figure out what works for you. And almost always you're going to have to change your type size. So if you develop it for desktop, your headline's going to be too big. It's going to push everything down. So you're probably going to have to shrink your headline. You may even have to use different fonts to do that. And if you're using like returns to make your headline work right, you can't do that for mobile. It'll make things work totally different. Never use returns to make things look right on the web. Optimization tip number 8. Include a privacy policy assurance linked to your privacy policy. And the place to do that is right below your button, not at the bottom of the page. We've tested this a number of times, and what we find is when you put that statement right up underneath that button, so here's your button, the statement is right underneath it, and the statement can be really small type, just readable, and it can simply say something as easy as, "We will never share your info with anyone," and then a link to our privacy policy. What people want is they want an assurance that they're not going to get stuck in somebody's mailing list. They're not going to get a million emails as a result of signing up for yours. And so if you put that right below that button, it will always help. So again, it can be really small type, but it definitely increases conversion. Optimization tip number 9. I ought to learn how to say optimization. Delete all the other junk. So the people who sell the page development templates and programs do it have added, for some reason, they put all kinds of junk on these pages. And so you look at it and say, well, I need to have all that junk on my page. Let's define junk. Testimonials on an opt-in page, an about me section on the opt-in page, an explanation about it, maybe a video, any links that go anywhere except a privacy or a TOS. So if you're just using a standard WordPress and you don't have a page development form, you're going to have links across that top. You will kill your conversion if you do that. No links except to a privacy policy and a terms of service. That's the only links, and the button that links out, obviously. Okay. Junk should only be on the ad version of your page. So you need that extra junk for Facebook, for Google advertising. But keep it to a minimum there too. My strong suggestion is you develop a killer page with just the things I've talked about, and then copy that page, add the other junk to it, and only use that page to drive ads to. Don't build that page and say, I'll just do one page. No, because you're cutting. So literally, I see this all the time. People are getting 5 to 10% conversion. They do this and they're suddenly getting 40, 50, 60, 70% conversion by getting rid of the junk. The junk kills your conversion. Optimization tip number 10. You should not have just one landing page. You should have multiple different opt-in incentives that attract multiple different audiences. Maybe sometimes the same opt-in incentive targeted at a different audience. Don't fall into the trap of, oh, I'll just do my opt-in page. No, you need a bunch of them. So I've given you 10 things here. Do these things right, your conversion will soar. Do them wrong, they're going to tank. And when the conversion rate on your opt-in page tanks, everything else in your business goes down. You definitely want to do the things we talked about in this video. What's your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.